The credit card statement trembles in my hands as I stand in my parents' pristine kitchen. $8,247. Each digit burns into my vision like a brand. The late afternoon sun slants through the bay windows, casting long shadows across the marble countertops Mom insisted on installing last spring. Now I know how she paid for them. "Is that you, sweetheart?" Mom calls from the living room, her voice honey sweet. "Could you start dinner? The chicken needs marinating." My throat closes. The familiar weight of responsibility presses down, decades of being the good daughter, the reliable one, the family fixer. But now the numbers swim before my eyes. 8,247.3. $2 in charges under my name. I turn the statement over. 3 credit cards. My name, my credit, my future. "Natalie?" Mom's voice carries a note of impatience now. The chicken won't marinate itself. The wooden floor creaks under my feet as I walk toward the living room. Each step feels like moving through water, slow and resistant. Mom lounges on her favorite leather recliner, tablet propped on her lap, reading glasses perched on her nose. Dad sits in his usual spot, newspaper rustling as he turns the financial section. "Oh, that?" Mom barely glances up when she spots the statement in my hand. Her finger swipes lazily across her tablet screen. "We meant to tell you about those. Just a little family emergency." The paper shakes harder. "Family emergency, I repeat." My voice strange in my ears. "You mean identity theft?" Dad's newspaper lowers an inch. "Families help each other, Natalie. It's not a big deal." "Not a big deal." The words echo as I scan the charges. Groceries at Whole Foods, Netflix subscriptions, Tommy's SAT tutoring, the caterer for their anniversary party. "You committed fraud." My voice cracks. "In my name, you're criminals." The room goes silent except for the tick of the grandfather clock in the corner. 6 months of warning signs flash through my mind. Mysterious packages with my name. Mom's vague explanations about post office mix-ups. Dad's casual questions about my social security number for insurance purposes. Mom sets her tablet aside, her face transforming into the wounded expression I know too well. "We raised you better than this selfishness." Her voice wavers. "After everything we've done for you." "Done for me?" The words scrape my throat. "You stole my identity. You destroyed my credit. You." Drama queen strikes again. Tommy appears in the doorway, smirking as he heads for the kitchen. My little brother, the golden child, who never had to be the responsible one. Who never had his future stolen by the people who should protect it. I watch him grab a soda from the fridge, and something inside me shifts. The familiar guilt and obligation melt away, replaced by an icy clarity. They feel entitled to my identity, my future, my life. They always have. Without a word, I turn and walk upstairs to my childhood bedroom. The walls still hold photos from high school. Honor roll certificates, dance recital programs, family portraits with perfect smiles hiding perfect lies. I grab my overnight bag from the closet and start packing. Clothes, toiletries, important documents. Downstairs, I hear the normal evening routine continuing. Mom called Tommy about homework. Dad commented on stock prices. The clink of dishes as someone finally starts dinner prep. They think I'll cave like always. They think their good daughter will fold. My hands steady as I pull out my phone. The Denver transfer opportunity my boss mentioned last week. The one Mom said I couldn't possibly take because they needed me here. 3 quick taps and the email is sent. "I'll take the position. When can I start?" The front door closes behind me with a soft click. My car keys feel solid and real in my palm. "Natalie?" Mom's voice carries from the doorway, more uncertain now. "Where are you going?" "We need to discuss this like adults." I slide into the driver's seat, my overnight bag heavy with the weight of decades. The engine purrs to life as Mom steps onto the porch, her face shifting from confusion to alarm. "I'm done being your safety net," I say through the open window, my voice steady for the first time today. As I pull away, the rearview mirror shows Mom's figure growing smaller, one hand pressed to her chest in theatrical distress. But her performance has lost its power. The road ahead stretches clear and empty, like a blank page waiting to be written. When does family loyalty become self-destruction? The question echoes as suburban houses give way to highway signs. What would make you walk away from everything you've known? The answer sits beside me in the form of a crumpled credit card statement, 8,000 reasons to never look back. My hands grip the steering wheel tighter as the sun sets behind me, painting the sky in colors of warning and change. I drive toward Denver with only the essentials: some clothes, my documents, and the newfound knowledge that sometimes love comes with an itemized bill. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is refuse to pay it. The blue glow of my laptop screen fills the hotel room the next morning. I sit cross-legged on scratchy sheets, phone pressed to my ear, listening to hold music from the Third Credit Bureau of the Mercening. My fingers hover over the keyboard, trembling slightly as I read through the growing list in my spreadsheet. Capital One, $8,247. American Express, $6,892. Chase Freedom, $4,981. Discover Card, $2,880. Thank you for holding. This is Marcus. How may I assist you today? I need to report identity theft. My voice sounds hollow, rehearsed after repeating these words so many times tonight. Multiple credit cards opened in my name without my authorization. Papers scatter across the bed. Credit reports, bank statements, screenshots of accounts I never knew existed. $23,000. The number burns in my mind like a fever. Marcus lets out a low whistle when I finish explaining. Ma'am, this is textbook identity theft. And the perpetrators being your parents? That's the worst kind of violation. My phone buzzes again. Mom's face lights up the screen, call number 47 since I left. The voicemail icon shows 16 new messages. I swipe to ignore as Marcus walks me through placing a credit freeze. A text from Dad pops up. Just tried transferring funds from your savings to cover the mortgage. Account locked. Call immediately. The rage rises in my throat, bitter as bile. Even now, they're still trying to access my accounts, still trying to bleed me dry. My laptop pings with an email notification from Tommy. Way to go, drama queen. Mom's crying herself sick because of you. Dad had to cancel my SAT tutoring. You've ruined everything. I close my eyes, remembering last week's family dinner. Tommy smirked behind his phone while Mom detailed her emergency expenses. He knew. He encouraged it. Probably benefited from every dollar they stole. Opening my calendar app brings fresh pain. Red notification dots everywhere, all the invisible labor I used to handle. Mortgage payment reminder. Weekly grocery list. Tommy's college application deadlines. Max's vet appointment for his ear infection. They're going to let everything fall apart, I whisper to the empty room. They don't know how to function without me. My phone lights up with a text from Sarah, my best friend since 3rd grade, now a lawyer in Pittsburgh. I texted her while scanning the documents. Just reviewed the documents you sent. Clear case of criminal identity theft. I'm taking this pro bono. No arguments, call me tomorrow at 9. Another text follows. Also, my firm's corporate housing in Denver is yours until you find a place. You're not alone in this. Tears blur my vision. But these aren't the familiar tears of guilt and obligation. These are different. Relief, maybe. Or recognition of help freely given, with no strings attached. My laptop chimes again. An email from Kevin, my boss in Denver. Position is yours. Har expediting transfer paperwork. Take whatever time you need to handle your situation. We've got you covered. I lean back against the headboard, reality settling in. I've spent 12 hours straight freezing credit, changing passwords, documenting fraud. My hands should be shaking. My stomach should be churning with anxiety. Instead, I feel something alien. Peace. The hotel room phone rings, startling me. The front desk patches through an urgent call from your mother. Natalie? Baby, please. These stress headaches. Then my blood pressure. Mom's voice wavers with practiced fragility. The doctor says. I hang up, block the hotel line, turn off my phone. And for the first time in 20 years, I sleep through the night. Morning brings fresh warfare. Aunt Susan sends a concerned email about my mental state. Uncle Jack leaves a voicemail about family loyalty. 3 separate church ladies text Bible verses about honoring thy parents. I scroll through Facebook, stomach clenching. Mom's latest post already has 50 comments. Heartbroken. Our beloved daughter is having some mental health struggles. Please pray for her return to stability and family. Dad's more direct approach lands in my work email. To whom it may concern. My daughter Natalie Matthews is experiencing a psychological break. Any employment contracts or decisions made during this period should be considered void. I forward it to HR and legal. Document everything. Sarah's voice echoes in my head. Evidence, build the paper trail. A week later, My new apartment keys arrived by courier at noon. The Denver transfer paperwork follows 2 hours earlier. I sign everything in the hotel business center, hands steady. Sarah's face fills my laptop screen during our video call. The bank's fraud department is launching a full investigation. They're treating it seriously. She shuffles some papers. But Nat, we need to talk about pressing criminal charges. They're my parents, I whisper, the old programming surfacing. They're criminals who stole your identity, Sarah counters. Being related to you doesn't make it less illegal. I stare at the spreadsheet of charges. Family dinners I paid for without knowing. Utilities. Streaming services. Tommy's tutoring. The smooth lies about temporary arrangements. You know what this means, right? Sarah's voice softens. You've been their ATM since you were 14. Your first paycheck, your college refunds, that trust fund from grandma that didn't exist. Something snaps inside me. A lifetime of receipts floods my memory. Working through high school while Tommy focused on sports. Community college so they could save money. Every birthday check from relatives was mysteriously lost in the mail. I reach for my laptop, start a new document. I want to write everything down, every penny, every lie. My fingers fly across the keys. I want them to see the whole truth in black and white. Sarah's smile holds steel. Now that's my girl. A text chimes from a number I don't recognize. This is Detective Rivera from the Financial Crimes Unit. Your case has been assigned to me. Can you come in tomorrow to make a formal statement? I save my document, back up the spreadsheets, email everything to Sarah and a secure cloud drive. One condition, I tell Sarah. When we file charges, I want it all public. No quiet settlements. No sealed records. I think of Mom's Facebook post, Dad's email to my office. They want to talk about mental health? Let's talk about financial abuse instead. You sure? Sarah asks. It'll get ugly. I look around the hotel room. At the scattered papers documenting 2 decades of theft. At the phone I finally turned back on, the screen filled with guilt trips and manipulation. I'm done living their lies, I say. Truth is the only way forward. But I didn't know then that the worst betrayal was yet to be uncovered, one that would change how I saw my entire childhood. A week later, the bank statements blur before my eyes as I sit cross-legged on the floor of my Denver apartment. 20 years of financial records spread around me in a perfect circle, each paper a wound reopening. My first paycheck stub from Dairy Queen at 14, marked with a neat check mark in Mom's handwriting. My college refund check studio, each one cashed without my knowledge. The trust fund paperwork from Grandma Matthews study emptied 3 years ago while I worked overtime to cover Tommy's private school tuition. The carpet beneath me holds steady as the room spins. A notification pings on my laptop, another Facebook message from Mom. Our daughter is having a breakdown. Please pray for her return to the Lord's path. 47 comments shower sympathy on her post. Mrs. Henderson from church calls me an ungrateful child. My 3rd grade teacher suggests I seek psychiatric help. They never loved me. The words scratch my throat as I speak them into my laptop camera. Dr. Wilson's face on the video call stays neutral, professional. They used me. Say more about that, Natalie. My hands tremble as I hold up the MIT acceptance letter, yellowed with age. Full ride scholarship. But Mom had shingles that spring, remember? Dad said they needed me close to home. The letter crumples in my fist. Local college meant I could keep managing the household, keep tracking their bills, keep raising Tommy. A text from Sarah lights up my phone. Legal team assembled. When you're ready to press charges, we move. My childhood friend turned corporate lawyer hasn't stopped working my case since that first midnight call from the hotel. My printer whirs to life, spitting out another bank statement. The forensic accountant Sarah hired keeps finding more. Credit cards, personal loans, second mortgages. All under my name, all funding their comfortable life, while I ate ramen in my apartment and sent them my overtime pay. The stress is killing your mother. Dad's email declares in bold font. Her blood pressure. The familiar guilt rises, then falls away as I notice his signature. Executive Director. The job he got using my social security number after his own credit collapsed. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. Tommy's voice fills the line before I can speak. Look, we all know you're being dramatic. Just come home and we'll forget this whole thing. Did you know? The question comes out steady, my hand gripping my phone case. When they opened the cards, silence stretches. Then, "You never checked anyway. You were too busy playing murder." The recording app blinks red as his words fill the digital space. Another piece of evidence for Sarah's growing file. A notification from my bank app. Fraud alert activated. The last card closed, the final account frozen. No more invisible ATM feeding their lifestyle. The afternoon sun slants through my new apartment windows, catching the edges of the restraining order on my coffee table. 3 signatures. 3 people I once called family. My landlord Margaret knocks softly, enters with a plate of actual home-baked cookies. Not the store-bought ones Mom passed off as her own at church functions. "Thought you could use these, dear." Her gray hair catches the light as she settles beside me, eyes taking in the paper warfare surrounding us. My Harold did the same to our daughter. 30 years I watched, said nothing. Don't carry that guilt. She helps me sort the documents, credit reports in one pile, bank statements in another, evidence of forged signatures carefully tagged with yellow sticky notes. The methodology of survival. "Mrs. Matthews?" My old AP English teacher's email glows on the screen. "Saw Barbara's Facebook posts. Remember when you missed that National Merit Scholarship ceremony? Your mother said you were too sick to attend. But I saw you that day, managing the church fundraiser she organized." The memory surfaces. 16. Running the bake sale, counting cash, calling vendors. Mom accepted compliments for her leadership while I calculated profits in the back room. Always the invisible engine driving their success. Sarah's legal team builds the case methodically. Paper trails stretching back to my first summer job. Medical records documenting stress-induced migraines, anxiety attacks, ulcers. The physical cost of being the family ATM. "Your mother's having a prayer circle for your mental health today." My cousin texts. "Thought you should know. Half the town's attending." The old Natalie would have crumbled, rushed home to stop their worry. The new Natalie forwards the message to Sarah. More evidence of character assassination. My phone lights up. Another email from the forensic accountant. Something about anomalies in my birth records, irregularities in the adoption paperwork, funds that should have gone into a trust. A grandmother I never knew existed. The sun sets over Denver's skyline, painting my new life in shades of possibility. On my laptop screen, the draft of my public statement waits, cursor blinking. No more silent sacrifices. No more invisible servitude. The words flow steady now. "Dear family and friends, for 20 years I was the victim of systematic identity theft by those who should have protected me. Today, that ends." My finger hovers over post when a new email arrives. The subject line freezes my breath. Matthews Family Financial Records, 2003, 2023, confidential. The attachment opens like a door to darker truths. My hands shake as I scan the documents, understanding blooming cold and clear. This wasn't just about money, this wasn't just about control. This was about a secret they never wanted found. 2 hours later, the laptop screen casts a cold glow across my Denver apartment. My fingers hover over the keyboard as I read the email again, my stomach churning. The message wasn't meant for Mimi Parent's financial advisor, thought I still managed their accounts. His friendly check-in about the usual arrangements includes a treasure trove of attachments documenting years of calculated theft. My father's instructions stand out in stark black text. "She'll never check, too trusting." Each word burns like acid. Below that, my mother's flowing signature appears on credit applications bearing my name, a familiar curve of letters that once signed my report cards and permission slips. Now it brands her a criminal. The front desk buzzes. "Miss Matthews? Your friend Sarah from the law firm is here." I buzz her up, pacing as her heels click down the hallway. When she enters, her charcoal suit looks as crisp as it did in court this morning, but her eyes spark with triumph. "They're falling apart," she announces, dropping her briefcase on my coffee table. "Your mother gave a television interview. Complete disaster." The local news clip plays on Sarah's phone. My mother dabbing her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief, voice trembling. "We only wanted to help our daughter through a difficult time. She's always been unstable." The lie twists in my chest, but Sarah's laugh cuts through the ache. "She didn't know the reporter already had your medical records. 20 years of perfect mental health evaluations. The station ran those right after her segment." My phone buzzes, another desperate move. My brother's Instagram shows an old family photo, Christmas morning, all of us in matching sweaters. His caption reads, "Missing my sister, family means forgiveness." The timestamp reveals he posted it at 3 a.m. Tommy's college found out he didn't write his own admission essays. Sarah says, sorting through papers. They're reviewing his scholarship. Turns out academic fraud runs in the family. A sharp knock at my door freezes us both. Through the peephole, I spot 2 police officers. The attempted wellness check right on schedule. I open the door with my phone recording. "Officers, I've been expecting you. My parents called you, correct?" I have documentation ready. I hand them the file my lawyer prepared. Restraining order application, identity theft evidence, harassment records. Their expressions shift from concern to understanding. "We'll note this as a false report," the older officer says, tucking the file under his arm. "You might want to know we spotted an unauthorized PI watching your building yesterday. Got his plates." After they leave, Sarah spreads documents across my dining table. Ready to end this? The next hours blur into action. Sarah's firm files criminal charges while I notify the IRS about years of tax fraud. My hands shake as I sign the civil lawsuit at $500,000 in damages. The number feels enormous, until I remember the decades of theft. My phone lights up with notifications. The local news back home has picked up the story. Church members who once sent prayer emojis on my mother's posts now share articles about identity theft prevention. My Aunt Linda, who last week called me ungrateful, sends a text. "I had no idea. I'm so sorry." The country club where my parents built their social empire posts a notice. "Membership suspended pending investigation." Dad's business partner calls, voice grave. The SEC is asking questions about the company books. My doorbell chimes again. This time it's Carol from the domestic violence shelter where I volunteer. She carries a thick folder. "Our legal team wants to help. Financial abuse is still abuse. Your story could help others recognize the signs." Sarah grins as she reads the shelter's advocacy proposal. "Your parents' lawyer quit this morning. Probably saw this coming." She taps her laptop, pulling up security footage from my old hometown. "Also, that PI they hired? Caught on camera trying to break into your old apartment. Police are very interested." My brother's latest social media meltdown pops up. A rambling video rant about family loyalty that does more damage than all our evidence combined. The comments fill with people sharing their own stories of financial abuse. Links to my case spread across Twitter. Fresh emails pour in my father's business under scrutiny, my mother's social circle crumbling, my brother facing expulsion. The house where I grew up, with its marble countertops bought on stolen credit, swarmed by authorities executing a search warrant. One more thing. Sarah's voice turns careful as she opens a final file. "The forensic accountant found something in your adoption records. Something that explains everything." My throat closes as I reach for the papers. The truth about my birth waits in black and white. A final betrayal that will demand the ultimate confrontation. But first, I let myself feel the fierce joy of justice served, of lies exposed, of power reclaimed. The sun sets over Denver, painting the sky in colors of warning and change. In my reflection on the window, I see a woman my younger self wouldn't recognize: a straight spine, steady hands, eyes clear of guilt. The woman who brought down a dynasty of deceit. Sarah squeezes my shoulder. "Ready to hear the truth about where you came from?" I nod, opening the file that will rewrite my history. Sometimes the deepest wounds hide the greatest revelations. And sometimes justice arrives with secrets that can shatter a family's foundations forever. A week later, at the investigator's room, the manila envelope falls from my trembling fingers onto the polished conference room table. Black text marches across crisp white paper, each word striking like a hammer. Certificate of Adoption. State of Pennsylvania. 1993. "Miss Matthews?" The investigator's voice softens. "There's more." My biological grandmother's name jumps from the page. Martha Whitmore. A trust fund established in 1993. Monthly stipend payments, all diverted to accounts I never knew existed. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead as memories flash through my mind. Mom's constant reminders of their sacrifice in choosing me. Dad's lectures about family loyalty whenever I question their financial demands. The way they watched me like hawks when I started my first job at 14, insisting I deposit every paycheck into their account for safekeeping. "They didn't adopt me," I whisper, my voice strange in my ears. "They acquired me." Sarah's hand squeezes my shoulder. My old friend, now my lawyer, has that look in her eyes, the one that means she's about to go for blood in court. The adoption agency records show regular stipend payments meant for your care, she says, sliding another document forward. Your biological grandmother left specific instructions for maintaining contact. Your parents signed agreements. They violated every single one. A bitter laugh escapes my throat. Let me guess they spent the money on Tommy's private school instead. And their country club membership, the investigator adds, among other things. The conference room door bursts open. Mom sweeps in, designer handbag swinging, her face arranged in familiar, wounded confusion. Dad follows, his lawyer hovering anxiously behind them. Natalie, Mom's voice drips honey in concern. What is this emergency meeting about? We've been so worried. The words die in her throat as she spots the adoption papers. Her perfect mask slips for just a fraction of a second, but I catch it. Fear. Real fear. We chose you, she recovers quickly, reaching for my hand across the table. We saved you from foster care. Everything we did was for your own good. I pull back before she can touch me. Did my grandmother's trust fund pay for those marble countertops too? Or just Tommy's SAT tutoring? Dad steps forward, his lawyer whispering urgent warnings. Now listen here, young lady. We can settle this quietly. Sign the agreement, and we'll give you all the information about your biological family. You mean the family you kept me from for 30 years? My voice stays steady as I stand. While stealing the money meant for me to find them? We protected you. Mom's voice rises, hysteria creeping in. Those people gave you away. We're your real family. The door opens again. Tommy slouches in, summoned by the court order requiring his testimony. His usual smirk falters when he sees my face. Tell them what you told me last month, Tommy. My words slice through Mom's protests. About helping Dad open those credit cards in my name when I was away at college. The blood drains from his face. Under oath, my golden child brother crumbles like a house of cards. Every fraud, every forged signature, every calculated theft spills out in a desperate attempt to save himself. I stand perfectly still as he talks, watching my parents' carefully constructed narrative collapse. Mom's theatrical sobs turn to genuine tears of rage. Dad's face goes from red to purple as his lawyer starts whispering about plea deals. The judge's voice fills the courtroom like thunder 2 hours later. In 30 years on the bench, I have rarely seen such calculated exploitation of a child by their supposed protectors. I keep my spine straight as the sentences are read. Dad's business licenses revoked. Mom banned from ever teaching again. Their precious reputation in tatters as reporters scribble furiously in the gallery. The family home seized for restitution. Additionally, the judge continues, this court orders the immediate unsealing of all adoption records. Miss Matthews shall have full access to her biological family's information, with no interference from the defendants. Tommy slumps in his chair as his academic record is formally marked with an ethics violation. No more prestigious law school, no more family golden boy, just minimum wage and defaulted student loans. The total restitution order comes to $750,000, the judge announces, to be paid in full before either defendant is eligible for parole. My parents' faces contort with impotent fury as bailiffs step forward. Mom's last desperate screech echoes off the courthouse walls. We gave you everything. No, I say quietly, gathering my papers. You stole everything, and now you've lost it all. Sarah walks with me to the courthouse steps, spring sunshine warm on our faces. In my bag, a set of keys weighs heavy against my hip keys to my biological grandmother's house in the Berkshires. A house that should have been my childhood home, now mine at last through the estate inheritance. Ready? Sarah asks, nodding toward the waiting cameras. Local news, national outlets, even a documentary crew tracking the story of family financial abuse. I touch the sealed letter in my pocket, the one found in my grandmother's desk. The one I haven't had the courage to read yet. Almost, I say, watching my parents being led to separate police vehicles. I just need a minute. Mom twists in the bailiff's grip, her mascara-streaked face turning toward me one last time. For a second, I see past the designer clothes and perfect hair to something hollow and desperate in her eyes. A lifetime of lies crumbling to dust. I turn away, touching the keys in my bag like a talisman. Ahead of me, the mountains rise blue and distant against the spring sky. Behind me, car doors slam with finality. The letter burns against my heart, my real grandmother's last words waiting to be read. But not here. Not now. First, I have a long drive ahead of me, leading to a house I should have known, and a family I should have had all along. I smile at Sarah, feeling lighter than I have in years. Let's go, I've got a home to find. The butterfly lands on my office window in December, impossible and perfect against the Denver snow. Its wings catch the morning light, orange and black against white drifts that blanket the city. 6 months ago, I wouldn't have noticed such a small miracle. 6 months ago, I lived in a world where beauty existed only to be monetized. My promotion letter sits unopened on my desk. Senior Management. The title I never dared want when every promotion meant more money for my parents to steal. But this one belongs only to me. The evening sun spills across my living room as Sarah and Marcus sprawl on my couch, empty pizza boxes testament to our weekly dinner ritual. Mozart drifts from my record player, my biological grandmother's collection, which my Aunt Patricia brought last month, along with stories of the woman who spent decades searching for me. You know what this place needs? Sarah waves her wine glass toward my gallery wall, where my first painting hangs beside my grandmother's "More of your art." The talent definitely runs in the family. Marcus nods, his silver hair catching the light. My landlord turned surrogate father smiles. Patricia mentioned your grandmother had her first show at 60. Never too late to follow those dreams, kiddo. The word dreams still catches in my throat sometimes. Dreams were dangerous in my old life. They cost too much, revealed too much. But here, in this chosen family circle, dreams flutter free like that impossible December butterfly. My phone buzzes. Another letter from Mother, redirected to my attorney. Her handwriting grows more desperate each time, but the words never change. We're still your parents. We chose you. You owe us. I delete the notification without opening it. The old guilt doesn't surface anymore. 4 months of therapy with Dr. Williams taught me that family isn't measured in blood or legal documents. It's calculated in trust, earned moment by moment. Speaking of Patricia, I pulled out the envelope that arrived this morning. She found more photos. Look at this one. The Polaroid shows my grandmother in her studio, paintbrush in hand, surrounded by canvases. Her smile mirrors mine, though we never met. Her eyes hold the same spark I see in my mirror now. You have her hands, Marcus observes. Artist's hands. Sarah leans forward. And her stubbornness, taking on the financial abuse speaking circuit next month, pure Whitmore courage. The name still feels new on my tongue. Natalie Grace Whitmore. I chose it last week, my grandmother's maiden name replacing the Matthews brand that marked me as property rather than person. My phone chimes with updates from the identity theft support group I founded. 3 new members tonight, 3 more people discovering that blood ties can become chains, that family can be the prettiest prison. But also 3 more people finding their wings, their truth, their escape. Have you decided about the house? Sarah asks. My grandmother's Victorian sits empty in my hometown, waiting. Last week, I drove past it after meeting with the prosecutor. Mother stood in the grocery store parking lot, her performance face crumpling when her usual tactics failed. You look different, she'd said, voice honeyed with familiar manipulation. I'd smiled, collected my bags, and walked away. Different. Yes. Free. The house, I say now, is becoming a shelter for others like me, somewhere to land while they find their wings. Marcus raises his glass. To new beginnings. To chosen family, Sarah adds. To trust, I whisper, watching the butterfly take flight from my window. Against all odds, it rises, defying winter itself to chart its own course through the December sky. Later, after Sarah and Marcus leave, I stand before my grandmother's portrait. Her letter, found in the attic of the Victorian, rests framed beside it. My dearest grandchild, you were always loved, always wanted, always meant to fly. The Denver city lights sparkle below my apartment window. Somewhere in Pennsylvania, my former parents serve their sentences in minimum security. Tommy posts bitter updates to social media, angry that his free ride vanished. Their letters pile up in my attorney's office, unopened. But here, in this space I've created, their voices can't reach me. Here, surrounded by the chosen family's warmth, my grandmother's art, and the simple miracle of December butterflies, I understand what she meant. I pick up my paintbrush. On the canvas, colors bloom like freedom.